Alright, we're starting part one of our build video for our biplane with snow skis. I'm going to try to get through these videos pretty quick here. Here I got my plans. As you can see, I already did some of the cutting out on some of these pieces. If you just follow the marks that I put here for 45-degree angle in, and it's all pretty simple. It's just a 3D plane, which I'm sure most of you have built. I went ahead and laid out some of these pieces. A lot of this is just straight cuts. We'll get to that in a little bit, but right now I'm starting with our wings because this is the hardest part of this whole build, I would say. Now this is the top wing, and we're looking at it from the bottom. So this is the upper wing, but we're looking at it at a bottom view. And you can see I got the score lines, and this line here will be scored from the top. I went ahead and taped down our plans, and again I'm just going to start straight cutting all this stuff. I ain't going to use no rulers. You guys can if you want. Let's just go ahead and get into cutting out this main wing. The upper and lower wing on this plane are both built the exact same way. So I'm only going to show you how to build the top wing, and then you can just do the bottom wing the same way. Again, I'm just straight cutting. On the front of the wing, you're going to want to do a 45-degree angle inward. You can also straight cut this whole wing too. It just depends on what you want to do. I don't think the 45 is going to make that big of a difference, but I usually like to put a little 45 on the front of the wings. Alright, now for any of the turns, I always like to go to my X-Acto knife to make any of these sharp turns or bends. I'm going to try to do this quick, guys, so I ain't got to make 4 videos. Alright, so now I made all my cuts. Now you're going to want to score all these lines where I have, you can see here I got 3 of them that we're going to just score. So that means don't cut all the way through. I would just go quarter of the way through first. These 3D profile planes are fairly simple to build. Like I said, the wing is probably the hardest thing to create. out. And if you guys wanted, you guys could have went ahead and just scored these lines before you even cut out the wing. I kind of did it backward here. Yeah, you would definitely want to score the lines before you cut the wing. But we'll just run with it here, since I already started. Alright, make sure you save your pieces because you're still going to have to cut out your ailerons. Go ahead and pop this out of here. Now you can see where I went ahead and scored all the lines. Move that off to the side. Now this is, like I said, this is a bottom view of your top wing. So the score lines will be on the bottom of the wing. Here we got our template for setting the dihedral on these wings. And now I'm going to go ahead and score lines are on the bottom. I'm going to flip this wing over. I'm just going to draw a line right in the center. And then we'll go ahead and score that. Alright, now I got my template here that we're going to set our dihedral. So let's go ahead and now what I like to do, guys, is I just take a pen. You guys can use a poker stick or whatever you want to use, but just to open up these score lines that we just made, I just run a pen down it. So that way I just spread it out a little bit so I can get the dihedral that I'm looking for, which is going to match our template that we just cut out. Now you're only going to want to hot glue. I got the score lines here. Here, let me go ahead and start with this other step first. I'll go ahead and finish scoring these. Make sure you don't cut all the way through on these score lines, you guys. I'll also go ahead and draw another straight line right in the middle of center of the wing. Now you're going to want to make a cut. You're going to want to cut all the way through from where your back score line is. Just go ahead and take your knife. And just go ahead and cut right on through to the front. Just like so. Go ahead and score these a little deeper. Just want to make sure they'll all break apart like so. And if you have to go back and score this a few times, that's fine. Just make sure you don't cut all the way through. The way I design these wings, you won't need no carbon fiber rod. I mean, you can if you want, but I haven't found it necessary on this plane. Alright, so you can see where I cut through on both sides. Scored a line on the top of the wing. What we can do here is just take a scrap piece of foam. Just taking glue down our template. This is the same way I do all my planes. Take and glue the template down on a scrap piece. And I'm going to set, well, we're just going to set it on that template to get our dihedral set. So I'm going to take and run some foam, or some hot glue in here. And this is again at the top of the wing. Set it in our template. Go ahead and wipe the excess glue off. And like I said, the upper and lower wing are both built the exact same way. Just let this set up for a second. Alright guys, so you can see I set the dihedral of the wing. Move that off to the side. Now what I want to do here, I need my little poker stick and I don't know where I put it. Here's the 3D plane I've been working on. We'll get that somewhere down the line here. Alright, I'm just going to use an ink pen. Now again, just to spread out these lines that we scored, I'm just going to take and run an ink pen down them. Just to spread them out a little. As you can see, it kind of widened them out. You guys can use an ink pen, or if you guys got some kind of sharp poker stick. This is how we're going to create the airfoil that we're looking for. Just like that. And as you can see with the biplane I already built here, it's got just a slight airfoil there. Again, this is our top wing. So once you get your airfoil set and you spread it out with your ink pen like I showed you, we're going to take and run some hot glue down that. I'm going to switch out my glue stick. Alright, now we're just going to take and run some hot glue go ahead and give it a little bend. Wipe your finger down it to wipe off any excess glue. You guys won't have to apply a lot of pressure. You'll already get the airfoil just from spreading it out with the ink pen like we did. And by making these score lines and creating this airfoil, when you put your hot glue in there, it makes this wing really strong, so you won't need the carbon fiber rod. Let's go ahead and do the next score line. Go ahead and wipe off the excess glue. Just apply a little bit of pressure. As you can see, we got our airfoil shape taking place. Let's go ahead and do this last one on this side. Alright, so as you can see, we got a little airfoil there. Now you guys can create the airfoil as much as you want. You can make it a little more. You just want some airfoil there. Doesn't have to be a whole lot. I'll go ahead and do the other side. Run my finger down it. Go ahead and do the next one. Glue stick in here. And push up on it. Wipe off any excess glue. You just want this side to match the one we just created. Go ahead and do this last one. So there we go. We got our dihedral set. We scored the top of the wing to set the dihedral. We scored all 3 lines so we could create our airfoil. I'm going to go ahead and put some hot glue on this cut that we made, just to connect these two pieces. I like to hit it from the top and the bottom. So there's our top wing for our biplane. As you can see, it's pretty much exactly like the one I got built on the plane. So again, your score lines are on the bottom of the wing. That's how we created our airfoil, by scoring it and running our pen down the score line, which was able to make us fold it in some. And now, like I said, the hot glue almost creates like a carbon fiber rod. I mean, this wing is very strong. And then when you take and add your wing struts and you connect all this together, it'll be really strong without even no carbon fiber rod. Alright, so let's go ahead and cut out our ailerons. All I like to do, guys, now you'll see on the plans I got a hinge line for scale flying, which is going to be a smaller aileron, and then you can also make a hinge line for 3D flying, so it'll make the ailerons bigger. And we'll just go ahead and go with the 3D aileron. All I'm going to do is cut out the aileron. Like so. So now I'm going to place the plans on the top of the wing, and you can see where we cut out our aileron. I'll just place my plans right back on the top. Make sure you center it. Set it right where it needs to be. Just like so. Now I'll just take and mark all these corners. And you can use this on both sides. I'll show you what I do here. So now I made my marks. Take and flip it over. Go ahead and center it again. Sure I get it lined up nice. Just make sure you guys center it really nice. You want both your ailerons to be identical. Now I'll just mark the corners again. That off to the side. Now I just connect the dots. Like I said, I'm not even going to do a video on building the bottom wing because it's done the exact same way. Saved me a lot of time. Again, I'm just connecting the marks that we made. Alright, so we got our ailerons that I'm using the 3D marks, so I want the ailerons bigger for some 3D flying. Now, from the top of the wing, this is the top view of the wing, you want to set your ruler on the line we just made. And now we're going to cut at a 45-degree angle toward the front of the wing, right on the hinge line. Same thing on the other side. Yeah, the hardest part of this whole build is just building these wings. The rest is pretty simple. It's just all, if you just follow the plans on cutting out the fuselage and all the other pieces, they're all pretty simple. Go ahead and finish cutting these out there. One side. Just freehand some of this stuff. Alright, so here's how we cut out our ailerons. So now once you cut off your ailerons, now you want to take that 45-degree cut. We just cut it off our piece like that. All you're going to want to do is just turn this around. We're going to do a 45-degree back cut on these. So that way it'll create a hinge line like so. We'll do the same thing to the other one. Just going to take it off, flip it to the back, and just cut a 45 back cut. Again, guys, when you guys are doing these, cutting this foam, it's always best to cut on carpet. A lot of guys try to cut on like hard surfaces, and it only ends up tearing the paper on the foam. I found cutting on just some flat carpet works best. Alright, now to make some clearance for these ailerons so that they don't catch up and bind up like they are right now. I'm just going to take and trim off probably about an eighth of an inch just on one side. So that way we'll have at least a 1/16 of an inch clearance, just like that. Now it won't bind up when we tape it on. Take and do the same thing to the other side. Again, I'm going about an eighth of an inch, that way we have a 1/16 of an inch. Alright, let's go get to clear taping these on. Now what I like to do is I'll just take a couple of little pieces of clear tape,